Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road. Are you ready to go? Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today on Live Music Nation podcast. I'm your host, Jake Gill. We're doing a series on theaters and performance venues across the U.S. Today, we are with Oscar at the Roxy Theater in Muskogee, Oklahoma, the famous Muskogee, Oklahoma. Oscar, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oscar, give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up, and how did you get to this position of director there at the Roxy?
I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and actually raised about 15 miles from Muskogee on a farm. That's a little competition there. But I was raised on a farm with 3 brothers and a sister, and pretty much grew up on a 160-acre farm, raising cows and chickens and that sort of thing. I come to work here.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road. Are you ready to go?
It closed and was closed for like 20 years. I had a group here that ran the Muskogee Little Theater, and so they opened it up specifically because they wanted to have a place to perform. But once they did that, once they did the first phase of renovation, they found that the stage, even though it was a nice size stage and had a dressing room, that really wasn't deep enough for the type of stuff that they needed. And so they gifted this theater to the city of Muskogee.
Oh, wow.
And so for the past a little over 20 years, it's been open. It's a 3-story theater. It initially had 700 seats in it. We have 300 in our main area right now. And we're looking to renovate the next 2 levels of the theater, which is like another 175 seats above us.
Nice.
Where I'm right now. And then there's a 3rd level that will be the executive offices. So we're hoping to renovate all of that. Right now we do movies. We do, they still do some plays on the stage. We do weddings, birthday parties, concerts. Yeah, we do pretty much a little bit of everything. And when he was alive, this was a theater that every year Leon Russell would come and would have his birthday party.
Oh.
Yeah, and of course, Carrie Underwood, before she became famous, sang on our stage. So it has great acoustics, and you've got a great view from any place in the theater itself. Has 10 speakers, so it's great sound all over the place. And it also is the home location of the Oklahoma Movie Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And every May, first Saturday in May, we induct 6 to 8 individuals who are from Oklahoma into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
And what's really fascinating, Oklahoma ranks number 4 for the number of people who work in the industry in front of and behind the camera, got another one coming, so more competition.
There's a party going on.
Yeah. But, there's California, New York, Texas, and then Oklahoma. And so there are lots of Oklahomans in the industry, from actors to writers, producers, directors, whole 9 yards, and have a long history with the motion picture industry. So a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect from Oklahoma. So it's a lot of fun.
So, Oscar, what was your interest in the theater? Really, where did that come from?
Well, my wife and I, for the past, I guess since 1991, owned a production company. So we've made independent films since 1991 all across the state of Oklahoma, and shot documentaries that cost about 23 different states. And of course, the Roxy, and my wife started about 23 years ago, the Bare Bones International Independent Film and Music Festival. And the Roxy became our headquarters, because folks come from all over the world. Typically each year we'd have folks from 13 foreign countries and about 45 states that would show up here. And even though we had 5 places downtown that we would show movies, the Roxy was their favorite location. So it became our favorite location too. So people would say, "Are we going to show? Are we going to show at the Roxy?" We all excited, So we say, "Well, we're going to try to get it there." And so that kind of began this love affair. And what's fascinating, this Roxy Theater is the last Roxy Theater in the state of Oklahoma.
Wow.
And they used to be pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
I think in the United States, there may be maybe 34 that are left, and worldwide about 77 that are still around. And most of those 30-something have actually been renovated. And there are two new Roxys that I know of. They built one in Atlanta, Georgia.
Uh-huh.
Coca-Cola company had a lot to do with that, and they built one in Los Angeles, and they show movies and they do a lot of music events and like that, kind of similar to what we do as an art house theater.
Yeah.
Because the name Roxy was so popular, because that original Roxy they built in New York was like a 6,000 seat theater, which is just insane today, right?
Oh man.
Yeah, it cost about $1 billion to make that thing today, and so then it became so popular that name kind of spread across the U.S., around the world. Actually, what's really funny, people say, "Was it a franchise?" Well, I think it was like an unofficial franchise. I think that was just kind of stole the name, but it had such a connotation with it that now when people think of the Rocks, it's like, wow. And of course, we still have the original sign is out there, and so people come. You'd be surprised how many folks, Jake, stop on a daily basis to take a picture of that sign.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I bet.
Because it's so iconic. So my love affair with the Roxy pretty much kind of began that way, and it's a beautiful place, and we're excited about the renovations. And of course, our city is 38,000 people. It's small, but the heart of every city is its downtown. And this Roxy is smack downtown, right across from the police station. And so the renovating of it and bringing it back to its original opulence and the expansion of the Movie Hall of Fame would really impact the heart of our city. So that's one of the reasons that I am here, because I want to see that happen, hopefully in my lifetime. So that when people come to the downtown of Muskogee, it's like being in downtown Nashville in a way. When you go and you walk going to the music hall of the Country Music Hall of Fame, and right down in smack down heart town in the heart of Nashville. It's so exciting. You go to that building, get those 3 stories, and matter of fact, every time I go to Nashville, I go there, even though I've been to that before. It's just a place to go. So hopefully we'll have something similar to that when we're talking about this location in downtown.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Very cool. What is it about live performance? What is it about live performance and the venues themselves that you think are so intriguing, not just to you, but to the general public as well?
Well, live performance, it's like that energy that performers need. And it's like a give and take. And I watch, sometimes you go to a concert and you'll be watching the performer up there, and every concert someone will shout, "We love you," and they've never met that person, but the music that they've heard has touched them. Yeah. And so to see that performer perform that music live, it is really meaningful, and whether that's music, or whether that's someone performing a play, or saying those words from a play of you can't handle the truth, whatever those are, those performances have such power when they are there. And you're watching them live, and so live performances I guess it is perhaps one of the truest forms of human communication. Going all the way back to ancient times when you just have a storyteller recanting events that happened in the village, and people around the campfire at night, all excited to hear about whether it's the hunt, or a fight, to say that or a conflict, or just an interesting story about someone who lived ahead of their time. So that is, in a way, music and poetry and all of those things, and performance. That live performance is like an extension of what was happening in ancient times. It continues, yeah. So it has a certain humanity to it and even a spirituality to it that's kind of hard to get around.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That's a great. We continue when we do these interviews. We continue to hear that word energy, not only from the performers, but also the spectators, also the directors, also the owners. That's fantastic. Cool. All right, now I've been looking forward to these 2 questions with you since the beginning. I held off on them. What's the all-time best live performance you've ever seen in your life? Concert or theater, musical performance, whatever. What's the best live performance you've ever seen?
Oh, wow. Oh, man, that's a toughie. I went to see, my wife and I, to a it was a jazz concert,
Okay.
and this was in the performers that played was outstanding. But BB King, he was older at the time, gave a performance that just kind of was mind boggling. It was, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, it really was. And him and Bonnie Raitt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's one. Yeah, it was just absolutely mind boggling. And of course, Bonnie Raitt's one of my famous all time folks in the whole wide world. Just love her voice and the music. But her performance is always it is so what's the so, I don't know what the word I'm trying to think of the right word to describe it, but it is so I don't know so
Yeah.
heartfelt. So it's something about her music and her sound is just amazing. I mean, I can name a bunch of folks. I mean, it's funny people say, "Oh, we went to a concert and it wasn't that much fun." I have never been to a bad concert. If people show up and they play, no matter what they're playing, I'm like, "Yay!" Because it's so great to see that live music. And of course, every year, my wife and I, we go down and we record the it's a blues festival not very far from
Sure.
here, Dust to Dawn. And so for the past, I guess 23 years or so, we have recorded their main stage.
Oh, wow.
And so you have all of these old blues legends that are almost on crutches and walkers. They get out, and some voices are kind of gone, some are still there, and they're singing their hearts out.
Oh, man.
And you just, I mean, you just love it. It's live, and what's really amazing is their fans who follow them over all these 30 or 40 years. They will show up also on crutches and walkers, and they will get out on the dance floor with their
Oh,
crutches
man.
and the walkers, or even their wheelchairs, because they're so moved by that music and have had such an engaging life with their performance. It's just absolutely
That is so cool. Okay, final question. Dead or
fun.
alive, you could bring one act to the Roxy Theater in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Who would you bring?
Woo, wow, you asked a big question there. One performer, just one.
Just one.
Mm, wow. It would be the lady that just passed away, Loretta Lynn. She
Wow.
was. I had a chance to meet her, and she was one of the most genuine people I've met in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
Matter of fact, I just meet her entire family, and she was truly a matriarch of her family. But she was so forward thinking. Went to her hurricane meals and the museum that she puts there, and she built a performance arena there. I said it's an arena; it's a covered area, specifically for the people who would come there each summer to visit her. And so it was so amazing because they built I guess the green rooms and everything there. And what was really really fascinating, Jake, is the first time we went with a group and we were doing the filming, and it was a bunch of young folks, men and women, in their teens. They were rock and country and blues, and they were coming to perform on her stage. And it was the first time anyone performed on that stage that she just built.
Oh,
And
wow.
and matter of fact, she had never even used that green room yet. And she gave them the green rooms. She filled it with food for them and drinking whole nine yards. It was the most incredible thing, and then allowed them to perform over the weekend at that place. But her music, you think about a young mother who's just writing songs that touch her, and and then she takes those songs out with kids in tow almost and begins performing. There are a lot of success stories that revolve around a person doing that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And then she has this huge 40 plus year, I guess what is that, a 50 plus year career
Yeah.
of hits and hits and hits. And she never forgot that she was the coal miner's daughter. She
Yeah.
never forgot who she was. And she said when we were talking, she made this statement. I've heard it before, but it was interesting that she said, "This is how I live," and is that money, fame, and power don't change you. They make you more of who you are.
Yeah.
And truly, she was generous. She was kind-hearted, talented, and she always was thinking about others. It was just amazing. If I could bring her back to life and open the Roxy up, she would be the person
That's
that I would bring.
fantastic, man. I love that. Well, you don't get a chance to hear the background of somebody like Loretta Lynn. That's so neat to hear. Absolutely. Well, hey, how do people find out more about the Roxy Theater Muskogee?
They can go to roxymuskogee.org, and that's our website. It has pretty much everything that's happening here for the next several months.
Okay.
And they give us a few minutes, and we'll have everything here for the next at least for the next year.
Oh,
okay?
Man. That's great. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on today. I appreciate it so much, Oscar.
Thank you, Jake.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of